Hi everyone, it's Marianne, and for today's video, I'm sharing with you some fall decor DIY inspired by Pottery Barn. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's September, so it is officially fall season, although technically it's not yet, but the moment September hits, it is fall. And I love the fall season because not of just the weather, but of the decor. This is the time that I'm very inspired to just like decorate, do DIYs. So when it comes to fall decor, I always look to Pottery Barn for inspiration because they just have really good curation when it comes to their fall decor style or any style year round. So I want to look at the website, see what they have for this season, but Pottery Barn is expensive. I'm not gonna pay $80 or $100 for something that I know I could DIY for cheaper. So that's what we're doing today in this video. Side note, I'm very obsessed with my lashes right now. I don't have any falsies on. Normally I would wear falsies when I make my sit down videos, but this time I'm just wearing mascara. I'm wearing the Benefit Fan Fest. Full disclosure, this was sent to me via PR, and I'm very excited to be actually in the PR list of Benefit now. Benefit is a cosmetic product that I've been using for a long time. I love their brow products. So I got this one for free, but honestly, I really love it. I just love how it opens up my eyes. And honestly, I don't like wearing mascara because it always kind of like smudges my eyes as the day goes. But I've actually been using this for a week. Like when I went to work yesterday, I was wearing it and it hardly smudged at all, or even at all. It doesn't give me the raccoon eyes, unlike other mascara that I've used that's even waterproof. And this one, I don't think this one is waterproof. It's just a regular mascara and no smudge at all, and it makes me look like I have falsies. So if you're interested in getting the Benefit FanFest mascara, it is actually tagged in this video. So if you're gonna go get it, and FYI, I do earn a small commission if you use the product tag in this video if you want to get the Benefit FanFest. Just a side note, but I digress. But when it comes to fall decor, I always look to Pottery Barn for inspiration. So when I look at their website and I see something that I like that I know I could DIY for cheaper and not pay like $80 or even over $100 for it, best believe I'm gonna DIY it. So that's what we're gonna do in today's video. I'm gonna share with you 4 Pottery Barn inspired fall decor DIY, and maybe it will inspire you to do some fall decorating and DIYing yourself. And I have a media center that I received maybe 2 or 3 months ago from an Amazon seller. And honestly, I love it. If you wanna check out this, if you wanna get it for yourself or you're just curious what it is, I'll have the product listing and my Amazon shoppable video review link down in the description. And when I received that media center, the first thought that came to my mind is how excited I am to decorate it for the holiday season, beginning with fall. And now it's fall, so I'm really excited to create decorations and put decorations on this media center that has a fireplace on it. So I'm really excited, especially coming towards the Christmas season. I'm excited to decorate as well, but right now I'm just gonna decorate it with Pottery Barn inspired DIY fall decor. But before we get started, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Marianne. Welcome to My Wasteless Life, where I take you along my houseplant and sustainable lifestyle journey and share with you some of my tips and tricks along the way. And I also share some lifestyle and travel vlogs here and there. So if that type of content interests you, make sure to subscribe to my channel before the end of this video and make sure to like and comment down below. I would love to hear from you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So when it comes to shopping for fall decorations, even if you don't want to DIY them, often they're mixed with Halloween decor. And this is not just on Pottery Barn, this is like in every store. But for me, I am more of a fall girly than I am a Halloween girly. And if you're a Halloween person, that's great. But for me, I kind of like my fall decor to be about fall and not really about Halloween, because the way I feel about Halloween is how non-Christmas people feel about Christmas. Like it's the holiday season, Christmas is one day. So for me, it's the fall season, Halloween is one day. So today we're gonna focus on fall decor that's Pottery Barn inspired, but there is one DIY that I'm excited to share with you that is Halloween decor, and it is inspired by Pottery Barn's Gus the Ghost with pumpkin. And I've seen this all over TikTok. Everyone is DIYing Gus the Ghost with a pumpkin because he's so cute. Gus the Ghost with a pumpkin costs about $85 on the Pottery Barn website, and I was able to recreate it for under $10 using materials that I bought from Joann Crafts. and items that I upcycled. So that's going to be a big theme of this video as well. In my DIYs, I mostly use upcycled items and items that I found on Joe and Crafts or the dollar store. But don't worry if you're also trying to kind of like recreate all of this DIY, because I know how it feels like when you see like a cheap DIY video and it's from somebody who's already a crafter or already regularly does DIY. So they have all the materials already. But for like a regular person, you and I that who only DIY or craft occasionally, we might not have all these materials in hand already. So for the main materials that I've used for this DIYs, I did purchase from Joe and Crafts and the dollar store. But even then, for most of this DIYs, it costs about less than $10 each, maybe even like $15 the most each. So it's still gonna come out cheaply as compared to if you actually buy them in Pottery Barn or even in any other store.
So let's make Gus the Ghost with pumpkin. For materials, you need half a yard of sherpa. I bought a yard of sherpa at Joe and Crafts for about $10 and some change. So for half a yard, it's about $5 to $6. And for Gus's buddy, I am using a pillow that I already have. We all have throw pillows that we no longer use, so it's perfect for this DIY. Just make sure you pick a fluffy one. And for Gus's eyes, I got black felt fabric from the dollar store, so that's $1.25. But I actually ended up using something else for his eyes later on, which I will show you. And then for the pumpkin, I got this at the dollar section at Target. This one is the velvet pumpkin. They also have the Sherpa ones, but I didn't like the color, so I just went for the velvet one instead of the Sherpa. And you could also get one at the dollar store for $1.25. So first we're going to shape Gus's body form, and this is why it's preferable to have a fluffy pillow instead of like a fully stuffed one, because you really need to be able to form this. So what I do is I just take two corners and kind of folding them together to give a semi-rounded top, and I just sewed it in to keep it in place. You could glue it, but I feel like sewing it makes it a little bit more secure. And to give him a bit of a waist, I am using some yarn that I already have and just tie it across the middle of the pillow just to give it shape. Honestly, I feel like this is unnecessary, but I do think that if I do cinch his waist a little bit, it does give the pillow a little bit more stability, so that's why I did it anyways. But honestly, it's unnecessary because the body form is going to be covered by Sherpa. Next, I had to cut the sherpa to size since I got a yard of it. And overall, I really just needed like about half a yard of it. Even with this one, I cut a little bit more than half because I thought I'm gonna need it. But I ended up also just trimming it later on. And after you cut it, the first thing you're gonna do is to give it a hem. Since I have a lot of excess fabric, I gave it about like 2 inches of hem. And you could sew this or you could glue it like I did. I use E600 glue. You could also use glue stick. I think it would stick fine. But I also only hemmed 3 sides of the fabric and just left one unhemmed, which I'm going to show you why. So the unhemmed part is what I use to wrap around Gus's body. And once I kind of like formed it or put it where I want to make sure like when I flip over the sherpa, the hem just hits right on the table. That's when I sewed it inside. You could also glue it inside to the pillow. And I did it this way so that when I move Gus the pillow around, it doesn't lose its shape, it doesn't lose its form. I don't have to keep rearranging it. And after draping the sherpa on Gus the way I want to, then I put the pumpkin in. I will just make sure that it's draped the way I want to before I sewed in the pumpkin. This one you could glue as well, but I prefer sewing it. For Gus's eyes, I initially tried with the black felt fabric, but somehow it wasn't working out for me. But since I have some scrap sherpa and some black paint, I decided to paint or dye the scrap sherpa black and use it for the eyes. So when I cut it, even though I was cutting it unevenly, it wasn't showing up like it did with the black felt fabric because of the sherpa. So that's what I used for the eyes on Gus, and I just like rough cut it into an oval slash circular shape. And again, you could just glue the eyes on if you want, but for me, I did sew it just in case I changed my mind about this and wanted to do something else. I could like easily take it out as opposed to gluing it on. And that's how I made Gus the Ghost with the pumpkin. I really like how it turned out, and I made it for $8.25 as opposed to spending $85.50 for the Pottery Barn version. And with the leftover sherpa from Gus the Ghost, we're going to make a large sherpa pumpkin. Now they're already plenty of dupes of this that you could find in Target, Marshalls, even Aldi for cheaper, but they're not the same size nor the same quality. So with the leftover sherpa, I am going to make a large pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is on the two longest side, I am going to do a running stitch. I'm going to use a slightly darker thread so you could see what I'm doing. But basically, you just go through the edge. Okay. So the running stitch is probably the easiest stitch. So even if you don't know how to sew like I do, you'll probably be able to do it. So the important thing is to not tug it too tightly. So what I do is I just insert the needle, fold a little bit, and then poke the needle through and then pull. So that way the thread doesn't get tangled either, because you need a really long thread to be able to cover the entire long side without like pulling it tight. You do that later. So something like that, and you're gonna do it all the way through the end. So one more time, and then I will show you once I'm done. Okay. So once you stitch all the way to the end, don't tie it and don't cut the thread, and keep it in the needle if you can, and just use another needle to sew the other long side of the sherpa. After creating the running stitch on both of the long sides, fold them in half so that the short sides connect together, and that one you are going to sew with a proper stitch. I don't know what the stitch is called. I'm not a sewer, but basically it's different from the running stitch. It's the one that goes back, so that you make sure you're actually stitching this properly and that won't fall apart. You could also just glue this, but I prefer stitching it because I feel like there would be glue residue or glue visible if I just glue it. So I just stitched it. It was the short side, so it wasn't too bad. And once you're done with that, you take one of the long sides and you pull the long thread very carefully. Do not pull it too fast or too hard, or else the thread might break and you'll have to do the running stitch all over again. So once it has completely bunched up and tight as much as it can, what you do is to stitch it all together. That's why I said keep the needle and then tie it up. And you only do this for one of the long sides first, and you turn it inside out. You don't stitch up or close up the other side. So for the next step, I didn't include this in the list of materials because I'm just upcycling filling from an old pillow. If you have polyfill, you can use polyfill, but I don't think a lot of us do unless you're a crafter. So I just used the filling of an old pillow to fill up my large pumpkin sherpa, and kind of same thing I did on the other end. I'm just closing it up by pulling the long thread and just doing it carefully so it won't break until it's kind of like closed up as much as it can, kind of like forming this butthole in here. And once you do that, you sew it all together so it closes up pretty nicely and it won't kind of like pop out. And for the stem of the pumpkin, this is where you kind of get creative with upcycling. What I end up using is one of my heatless curlers, so it's something that bends, and I just wrap it around with yarn that I already have. You could also use like twine or cord that you could get at the dollar store for $1.25 if you don't have it. Or you could just use like a stick and like wrap that up with twine if you don't have the same thing that I do. But since I already have this, you could also find this I think at a dollar store as well if you want something similar. So that's what I use for the stem. And I just inserted in the hole to put it in, but I'm actually putting it later. I want to give the pumpkin its shape first by running a cord in 8 parts into the pillow that we essentially made. So you want to do this really tight so that the cords doesn't show after you form it into pumpkin, and you kind of like want to create 6 to 8 parts to give that pumpkin shape. And when I'm making the final ties to the cord, I inserted the stem first, and with the leftover length of the cord, instead of cutting it, I did wrap it around so that it could give like a bit of a base to the stem and just kind of like tuck it in. And that's how I made my large pumpkin sherpa. So this one cost me, well, I guess just $6 for the sherpa. Everything else was my own material as opposed to $50 from Pottery Barn. So this DIY is more of a dupe. The mini pumpkins in a wooden bowl If you buy it directly from Pottery Barn, it's very pricey. The pumpkins, even on sale, it's like $15.50, and you only get about like 4 or 5 ish. And you can see you kind of need quite a few of them. And for the wooden bowl, you see that they sell it for like up to $300, which is very expensive for a wooden bowl. So here's what I found as dupes instead for this DIY. This I found at Joann Crafts. It was originally priced at $50, but you know, Joann Crafts, they never really sell anything full price. So I got this for $15 during the Labor Day sale. It was pointed out to me my fall decor is too pumpkiny. So at this point, you could fill it out with other stuff aside from pumpkins. If you want mini pumpkins, you can get it from Target or from Dollar Store for $1 each. It's a lot cheaper. This one I got from the dollar store. They're actually my sisters, so I borrowed it from her. A couple of the ones I already had from last year. I also added this wooden bead garland that I DIY'd last year for my faux fireplace. So I'm just adding it in there, and I'm just using the smaller pumpkins to place inside of this wooden bowl because it's actually kind of small, and to give the pumpkins a little bit height so I don't have to fill it up with more pumpkins at the bottom. So I just filled up the inside of the bowl with a ball of yarn, a piece of cloth, anything that will help prop the pumpkin up so that I don't have to fill the entire wooden bowl with pumpkins. So we got the same Pottery Barn fall decor without the Pottery Barn price. What I really spent on was on the wooden bowl. You could thrift it for cheaper if you can and not spend $300 on the Pottery Barn one. And for this next Pottery Barn DIY full fall leaves arrangements, it's also more about achieving the same look with a lot less cheaper materials instead of getting them directly from Pottery Barn, because as you can see, their dry leaf fall branch is $59 each, and you need a whole bunch of them to really get the effect. And their vases are like about 300 each, and we can get them elsewhere for cheap. So I'm going to show you a couple versions of how I achieved this. First is a vase that I got from Marshall's. It's not exactly the same as the one in Pottery Barn, but it's one that I really wanted for a long time. And if you buy the same exact arrangement already, even from Target or Marshall's, you're gonna pay upwards of $15 and up. But because I bought the vase separately for $7.99, and I got this fall arrangement for $2 at Joann Crafts, I was able to achieve this look for less than $10. And this one, this cauldron, I also got at Joann Crafts, which I think was actually a bit pricey. Even on sale, it was $6. But it was a cauldron planter. Initially, I was gonna make it into a candle, like another TikTok DIY that I saw, but I opted to making it into another arrangement as well, using a flower pen that an Amazon seller sent me, which honestly you don't really need, and just some faux flowers that I already had that matches the one that I bought from Joann Crafts to achieve this look. So that one was also just like less than $10. With this one, this is kind of like the one that's a little bit more similar to the one on the Pottery Barn website, and this was $7.99 each at Joann Crafts, but it was on sale, so I got it for about like $2 each. I actually ordered 3 so I get that full effect, but they only sent me 2. But I think we could still achieve that full effect with 2. And I had a hard time finding a similar vase, or I just didn't have time to find a similar vase. I had the picture, but I had to paint it, and I just didn't have time to paint it or want to paint it because we do use the picture. So I just grabbed this container where we put our utensils in, but it has that urn or vase shape. So eventually, if I am able to thrift one, I might actually change the vase of it, but I just put the faux eucalyptus autumn leaves that I got from Joann Crafts, and even with just 2, it already looks really full, so I really like the look compared to the Pottery Barn one that cost up to $400, and mine was just like less than $7. And here are all the Pottery Barn DIY fall decor on my media center mantle. And you see different iterations of it here because I can't decide on how I want to decorate it. Plus, the room is not ready yet. So some of this other stuff, like the large Sherpa pumpkin and Gus the Ghost with the pumpkin, is actually going to go somewhere else, not on this media center, which I am excited to share with you soon.
And that's my Pottery Barn inspired fall decor DIY 6+1 Halloween inspired Gus the Ghost with a pumpkin. I hope you like them. And if you are going to recreate them yourself, let me know down in the comments. And as you can see right here behind me, my media center is arranged differently again from what you've seen in early clips. So it will all come together once my home office is ready. So you will see exactly how I'm fully decorating it for fall. But right now I'm just sharing with you this DIYs and how I'm kind of displaying them right now in my media center. And if you're also interested in that media center, it is down in the description, the Amazon link. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a small commission as well if you choose to purchase this media center through my affiliate link. And also, if you want to also check out the Benefit Fan Fest mascara, it is tagged in this video. So if you also use that link, it is an affiliate link, and I do get a small commission from YouTube and Benefit from it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. I come up with videos every week. And if you haven't yet, check out these videos up here until my next one. But until then, I see you, I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful day. Bye.